5.7 million chips in the pot. Nothing there for Zocchiti. Needs running cards or a queen or a jack. Now a heart will do it, and a heart only on the river. Not to be, and Zocchiti from Spain is out in 6th place, $41,932 richer. Vandale Pelto, who was just all in, is now up to about 12 million chips. And he is currently in 3rd place. Oscar 0610 has about 18 big blinds. Not going to play. Pretty sure Belabaski is going to play, though. Now, he's going to make it a little bit more than 2x this time because he's raising and he knows he has to play the hand out of position. I suspect Vandale Pelto will call this, and he does. Queen 6-5, Belabaski outflops him. And I suspect that it's not really about Belabaski connecting with the flop as much as he hopes that his opponent misses the flop. Pot is 1.5 million. There's the C-bet. And you imagine the Vandale Pelto will fold. No, he's going to call this. He's floating. I mean, he's got no pair, no draw, but he gets lucky on the turn. And I guess his thinking was, maybe I can represent hearts. Maybe I can just take it away if Belabaski actually checks on the turn. But in this case, he actually gets lucky and he catches his 9. Probably feels he has some showdown value. Now, Belabaski has picked up a gut shot to go along with his pair of 5s. You wonder what is going through Belabaski's brain right around now. He's going to bet 1.4 million. Right around half the pot. Over to Vandale Pelto, who is going to call. That was expected. Pot now is just about 6 million. And look at that. Belabaski hits his gut shot on the river. Obviously going to bet for value now. And when it goes over to Vandale Pelto, you wonder, what is he thinking? He floated on the flop. He hit his 9. But now there is a one-liner to a straight out there. He can't beat an 8, can't beat a queen, can't beat a bigger 9. Can't beat 2 pair, obviously. And at this point, he's faced with a 2.9 million chip bet. And he can really only beat a bluff. I can't imagine that Belabaski would be betting a worse hand for value. Now, he could be betting a 5 or a 6 as a bluff, turning his hand into a bluff. And Vandale Pelto snuffs it out and gives it up. Belabaski now up to 31.4 million. The interesting thing would have been if Belabaski had missed the river. I imagine he still would have bet. I'm not sure if Vandale Pelto would have been able to call. Obviously, depends on what card had fallen on the river. But we'll never know. Stein Tommy makes it... he's actually going to 3-bet. It's a kind of a baby 3-bet. Belabaski had made it 2x. Stein Tommy min-raises it over the top on the button to isolate. It's such a small bet, though. I'm not a huge fan of it, and one of the reasons being is if you get 4-bet, you just don't know where you're at. Did you induce this with that small little 3-bet? Now, I see a lot of players do that with aces, with kings, with ace-king, because they're trying to induce this play. But now you've kind of induced this play, and with a hand like ace-8, I just don't know if you want that. Belabaski does 4-bet it to 1.9 million. And, it's a great flop for him. He's got the overpair, plus he has the ace of diamonds. Stein Tommy has completely missed this. He has the 8-high flush. The 8 of diamonds in his hand. I should say the queen high flush draw. But he's in really, really bad shape, as we can see. Belabaski bets. Stein Tommy calls. Pot now 7.6 million. 9 of spades on the turn. Changes little, although Stein Tommy now has a double gutter. A 7 or a jack will give him the straight, but remember, it cannot be a diamond. So we're talking about 6 outs going to the river. Then again, he had no outs on the flop, so picking up 6 on the river after that turn, not necessarily a bad thing. Belabaski bets about $2.5 million, and that's going to get the job done. Stein Tommy folds, and Belabaski is absolutely running this table over. Now up to 36.1 million chips. Oscar 0610 with just over 15 big blinds. Queen Jack, he's going to shove. Thought he might do that. I don't think he was in desperation mode yet, but at the same time, 5-handed, those blinds come around pretty quick. I don't mind the shove at all. Stein Tommy's going to call with the ace-7. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't mind pushing with ace-7. I don't love calling with ace-7. You're just rarely a big favorite. Sometimes you're a slight favorite. Well, he's a big favorite now, a huge favorite, as he has won this pot. Flops an ace. Oscar 0610 drawing dead on the turn. And Stein Tommy up to 14.5 million chips. Oscar 0610 from Sweden is out in 5th place, $88,500 richer. And maybe that explains it. These players actually made a deal when they were 5-handed. And oftentimes players are more apt to gamble after they make a deal. Stein Tommy makes it 4x with the 3s. Vandal Pelto is going to shove from the big blind with King Queen. Stein Tommy calls with 3s. Pot 18.9 million chips. And here it is. King, Queen, Jack, all hearts out there. Neither player with a heart in their hand. And Stein Tommy is drawing dead. Queen on the turn, and Vandal Pelto fills up. Vandal Pelto, who was all in just a little while ago, is now in 2nd place with 18.9 million chips. Well, you were waiting for the password? Here it is. Kale. It's the online